It's a war of words between Jeff Bezos and the White House as they bicker over how to address the inflation crisis. A few days ago, Joe Biden tweeted this: "You want to bring down inflation? Let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share." To which Jeff Bezos retweeted and wrote, "The newly created disinformation board should review this tweet, or maybe they need to form a new non sequitur board instead. Raising corp taxes is fine to discuss. Taming inflation is critical to discuss. Mushing them together is just misdirection." He later replied to a tweet about how the deficit is decreasing because of the lack of pandemic aid and federal receipts are up because of inflation. Bezos wrote, "In fact, the administration tried hard to inject even more stimulus into an already overheated inflationary economy, and only mansions saved them from themselves. Inflation is a regressive tax that most hurts the least affluent. Misdirection doesn't help the country." He continued again, 25 years ago yesterday, Amazon went public. As the Grateful Dead would say, what a long, strange trip it's been. It's been far from smooth, lots of risk-taking, lots of invention, lots of mistakes, so much we still have to do better. I wouldn't trade the ride for anything. He then took another aim at the Biden administration. They're best to add another $3.5 trillion to federal spending. They failed, but if they had succeeded, inflation would be even higher than it is today, and inflation today is at a 40-year high. The White House was quick to hit back at the Amazon founder, who of course opposes the government's policies because it would mean a rise in taxes for wealthy individuals and corporations. Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates said in a statement, "It doesn't require a huge leap to figure out why one of the wealthiest individuals on earth opposes an economic agenda for the middle class that cuts some of the biggest costs families face, fights inflation for the long haul, and adds to the historic deficit reduction the president is achieving by asking the richest taxpayers and corporations to pay their fair share." It's also unsurprising that this tweet comes after the president met with Labor organisers, including Amazon employees. Jeff Bezos hit back again at the Democrats. They understandably want to muddy the topic. They know inflation hurts the neediest the most. But unions aren't causing inflation, and neither are wealthy people. Remember, the administration tried. The Amazon founder has a complicated relationship with the president, as he's criticised the company before for not paying federal taxes, and as of late has called to unionise an Amazon warehouse. It seems the two richest men in the world agree, as Elon Musk seems to be on the same path, that the government should take some blame for the 40-year higher inflation. He told the crowd at the All-In Summit in Miami that it's going to be a tough 12 to 18 months ahead. He said the honest reason for inflation is that the government printed a zillion amount of more money than it had. It's a twisted turn of events seeing a primarily left-leaning publication such as the Washington Post call out the Democrat administration. But as Fox News' David Assman points out, with Jeff Bezos being the owner of the newspaper, this is a first.
Beginning in mid-April, we begin seeing this kind of talk, and it's really intensified over the past couple of weeks. Last week, this editorial called "Biden's Magical Thinking on Inflation Continues." They softened the headline. The next day, it became "Wishful Thinking on Inflation," but they say the White House has been suffering from magical thinking on inflation, and sadly, that continues. One of its favorite talking points is to pin inflation on greedy corporations for hiking prices too much. That just doesn't add up. So what the Washington Post has been saying pretty much mimics exactly what Jeff Bezos has been saying. Now, whether it was a chicken or egg, which came first, I suspect that Bezos has felt this for a while and convinced the editorial side of the newspaper that that's what needs to be done. But for the president to lose the Washington Post, which has been the mainstay for every Democratic administration since at least John F. Kennedy, and very often they would sway their editorial policy towards that Democratic administration. This is a first. I've never seen in my career of many years, I've never seen the Washington Post stray from the editorial line of a Democratic administration. They're doing it now.
Yeah.